The ACA market, ladies and gentlemen, is toast, at least for the agent. What was a hot run really over the last 4+ years has come to a screeching halt as the business model has changed. It's tightened up and has become almost impossible. I don't say impossible, but it is not nearly as marketable as it used to. And the reason I'm sharing this with you today is so that you guys out there can have at least some context as to what's going on with ACA. Maybe you're thinking about selling health insurance, and I'm not discouraging you from doing it. I'm just giving you some on-the-ground facts about what's happening and what's changing so that you can take this into consideration if this is something you're thinking about selling. Because in my opinion, with the current administration we're in, and this isn't a political podcast at all, I'd refrain from politics, but it is a no-nonsense analysis of really how things have changed and how that'll impact you, the agent. And then you decide if it's good, bad, or ugly. That's for you to decide. So what I'm going to do here is actually share my screen. I'm going to lower my video, and then I'm going to show a document. I have to thank somebody on Reddit for posting this, and I've fact-checked the Redditor and pulled up a couple of data points here that have either passed or are going to finalize that are really going to change things, how ACA is sold, and in my opinion, make it a much neutered market versus something like final expense. So first of all, a big change coming is a pause of the low-income special election period. Reading the text here, and then I'll conceptualize it for you. A federal rule finalized in June this year will pause year-round special election periods for individuals at or below 150% of the federal poverty level from August 25th this year to the end of 2026. So why is that important? Because over the past couple of years, this has been a year-round opportunity special election period. You could write people up that were allegedly at a certain income range into a plan that you could then sell them regardless of it being in or out of open enrollment, which is the end of the year. And so what this allowed us to do in the ACA space is to sell health insurance at a large marketable rate throughout the year. This is now gone. And so what's happening now, there may be some state-based ones out there I'm unaware of, but from a overarching federal rule, this is preventing a lot of the sales that other agents otherwise would be getting. So it's going to be a much thinner pool of prospects to hit on when it's not open enrollment. Now, to add insult to injury for ACA, the open enrollment is now shortened. Reading line 2 here, this is nearly finalized. It hasn't been 100% finalized, but it's most likely going to happen. The marketplace integrity rule officially codifies open enrollment period as November 1st to December 15th, eliminating the previous extension to January 15th. But only for federal exchanges, meaning probably, 30, 35 exchanges. There's some state-based exchanges like I think Georgia, I think California. They may have different ones. And it's starting in plan year 2027. So I think that means next year's open enrollment. Now, what this means is that instead of having, it was like 60 days plus, you now have 45 days to get somebody switched into a plan. So this is less opportunity to close people at the most closable time of the year. So the idea behind that, I imagine, is shortening open enrollment period lower means less people enrolling, which is less expense. This is the big thing here. Finalized for federal exchanges, pre-verification of QLE documentation. The idea behind this, is self-attestation of income. What I mean by this is number 13, applicants must submit documentation unless income is verified by federal data. No peer self-attestation. In other words, what this meant is that you could just claim your income is whatever in order to get your number below whatever percentage you're looking for a complete subsidization for, right? And so this was absolutely gamed by agents and clients alike. And what was invariably happening is that people would lie about their income. There would be no real, what's the word I'm looking for? Verification of that income. Granted, if you did that, you didn't prove it with tax income statements, then I believe it would come back to haunt you. But the truth is that now at the time of application, if you're saying you're a certain income and you want a subsidy, you got to prove it. And so this again is another wrench in the cogwheel of the machine that'll make it more difficult to sell. So it's not that ACA or health insurance is going away per se. It's just going to be much more difficult to mass enroll a lot of people because of a shortened enrollment period, a higher difficulty in writing people throughout the year. And so in my opinion, right now, what does this mean to you? It means if you're looking to get into the health insurance space, it is going to be less of an entry or easier entry to get into than it was over the past couple of years. Another thing that changed dramatically a couple of years ago is there was this brief period of time for 3 or so years where you could enroll people without ever talking to them, the no dial system as it was called. And you could do that legitimately, but what agents and call centers were doing is they were just enrolling people without their knowledge into the plan, without their consent. And there was a big call center in the Southeast Florida area that went under. And I don't know where they are from a lawsuit standpoint, but I think the government went after them. I mean, and they enrolled all sorts of people in it in this way, allegedly, innocent until proven guilty. So it's just dramatically tightened. And the reality is in insurance, you kind of have to be like Madonna. You have to change with the times. You have to be aware of what's going on in the marketplace. And you got to know when the time is right to triple and quadruple down. And then you got to know when the time is to take your assets and investments and then put them into another product. Like looking back now, I think one of the things that, I guess I don't want to say I regret, but I wish I realized earlier on in 2019 and 2020 was this mass opportunity in ACA. I wish I would have quadrupled 10x that on some level alongside of building my final expense agency. Because it was this limited time opportunity to mass scale the writing of ACA plans in a way that you just can't duplicate now. And a lot of people made a lot of money that were able to see that and witness that as being an opportunity. So you start to see this more the longer you're in the business, is that there's really not products that stay the same. Even something like Final Expense, which is a steady Eddie type of product, it's definitely waxed and waned. There was a huge upsurge of interest in the agent population from about 17 to 22, and a lot of the MLM starters have exited through private equity, and the business is still hot. We're still recruiting a lot of people, but it seems like things have quieted down relative to 5 years ago, right around when COVID started. So, but the point is, when you're looking at business, you're looking at products to sell, be aware of the marketplace that you're in. This is why I like Final Expense. Because final expense is not a government good. A health insurance is a government product. It's a public product on some level. And it's going to be affected by who is running the administration or who's in charge and what their political objectives are. Is it to make it easier and to pass subsidies along and make life easier for the people or not, right? Or is it time to tighten up and have a sense of, tightening things up? Right now, we're in that phase. And anytime you're involved in selling products like that, you cannot avoid the realities that the politics play and how it impacts your product lineup. Medicare is kind of seeing some level of this too as well, although I think ACA is the biggest change. That's what, again, all said and done. That's why I like life insurance products. I really like Final Expense because it really hasn't changed. The products have stayed the same. The marketplace is growing. It's duplicatable. It's scalable. You can build an agency and scale that way too as well. And I don't see it ever slowing down. And it certainly doesn't involve the government on some level, which is a good thing, to say the least. So long story short, think twice about selling ACA. Make sure you really understand the market and have a good strategy that would work, even without these kind of like long-standing multi-year special election period opportunities that have kind of gone to the wayside. It might be worth considering sitting out until the next ACA opportunity comes back, maybe with an administration change in the next couple of years. Or not, who knows? It's hard to say.